So he came into my office and he threw the script in my face. Yeah. Kevin Hart needs to make better movies.
Ooh. Somebody please send this to Kevin Hart. Ooh. Perfect. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm really good. I sort of like took a slow start to my morning. We just finished writing the finale episode of Boomerang, and so I'm like, got that done. So now I feel like I can like rest a bit. You know what I mean? We can full screen this on. If I can. No, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
You are something else. I feel like I should just salute you. Like.
No, don't do that. Let the show air first.
Like, you're always busy, you're always working, and then you look at the product, you look at the shows, and they're always amazing. So I just now there are a plethora of reasons why I am so excited to talk to you, but first and foremost, the biggest one has to be that we are both proud Tennesseans.
Oh yeah.
I just had to tell you that, especially.
Wait, you're from Memphis, right? Or you're from
Nashville.
From Nashville. Okay.
Yeah.
What part of Nashville are you from?
I am from Davidson County.
Okay, I know this.
Yeah. It's it's a little hood. It's all right.
I mean, it's Tennessee, so I mean, come on.
Exactly. Now, I want to know from you, because I know my experience in Tennessee, but I want to know from you, especially growing up as a young black man, a man of color, especially of the LGBT community. What were some of those character-defining moments growing up in the South?
Yeah, I mean, Memphis is near to my heart. I was born and raised there up until I went to college in Morehouse. And I come from a really big extended family. And my grandmother actually, she owned the Blues Club in Memphis. Her name was, they called her Miss Kitty. So my grandmother owned it exactly. Like, she was like, just as the name suggests, like a gun-toting, loud talking. But she was my grandmother, and she loved us dearly. So I come from just like a big family where it was like family barbecues all the time. It was like cookouts. It was fish fries. Like my family is the nucleus of my heart and my soul. And I go back to my family to get refueled and to get recharged and to get loved upon, because I'm so far out here in Los Angeles. But I would say like one of the defining moments growing up was I lost my mother to breast cancer when I was 7 years old. So I was pretty much raised by a single father. I was raised by a single father in my extended family, my older brother and I. So, even though it was sort of obviously a sad moment to lose your mom at such a young age, I do think that my mom was a school teacher, she was a writer, she was a reader, and so like a lot of all that of what she was and what she is like now into me. And so, we honor her legacy, and I try to honor her legacy with everything that I do. Just make sure like I'm always excelling as much as I can. I'm learning and growing. But and it was funny when I go back to Memphis now. It's just really weird because like you grow, but the city sometimes hasn't grown as much.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm always sort of trying to negotiate with like how great I feel about being from a place like Memphis, but also acknowledging that Memphis needs a lot of work, it needs a lot of help. Crime and just like the status of young black men in the city, gang violence. I mean, it's just, I'm not trying to paint a bad picture of it, but it is something that I'm focused on and thinking about, like how to, support my hometown. I think one of those things is like I'm always talking about from Memphis. I'm always making sure that people who live in Memphis can see that like you can come out here to LA or go to New York or go overseas and do whatever you want to do. So I mean, I'm trying to always go back home and like talk to people and try to do all that. So that's the long answer.
I love the long answer. That's an amazing answer. That was great, because there's so many people that I know from Memphis who they're always looking for the way to get out of there, because of that picture that that people have of it, to where it is something that's a place that's filled with crime, it's filled with all these negative things, but there's so much beauty and culture there, and I love that people like you represent it so amazingly.
Thank you. I definitely try to make sure everybody knows I'm from Memphis. I mean, because look, like a lot of people like me don't come out of Memphis and do the things that I do, and so it's really important that I'm always like making sure that, no, I'm from Memphis. Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear about that.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I want you to take me back to, growing up in Memphis and then finally learning and figuring out what you want to do in your life. Like you once said that storytelling is your way of connecting to something bigger than yourself. I want to know what was the first story, the first film or show that you looked at where you were like, I want to do that. I want to write that.
Well, I mean, I have a few answers to that because it starts like when you're a kid, and I think that one of the things that not having a mother around, like I spent a lot of time by myself. I spent a lot of time like in books. I spent a lot of time like in children's books and children's novels. Like I was just reading. And what's also interesting is that my mother, and we still have it in the house to this day, she has like a huge bookshelf. And so whereas there were times where I was trying to sort of connect to my mom and like remember her, I was sometimes just pull a book off the bookshelf. So I remember reading The Color Purple, the novel, when I was like 7. I remember reading like what else was I reading? Like she had this like crazy stuff on that bookshelf, like Emily Bronte was on the bookshelf. So I'm like, I didn't understand it at the time, but I'm reading that. And then my grandmother, her mom had diabetes, so she had like a diabetes book. I remember reading like a diabetes book. You know what I mean? So I think it all started just because like I was, at the time you don't realize it, but I think I was sort of like searching for a piece of her. But I was just kind of bored in the house. I was like, oh, all the books are here, I might as well read them. And then from there, I think that's when like I realized like I am a person that's attracted to the written word. I'm a person that loves language, loves the use of language. And I found books and then transitioning to television and movies as escapism a little. And so I think that's where it all started. That's when I kind of figured out who I was. Because, like, I played sports, but, like, I wasn't great at them. But I enjoyed it, you know what I mean? Like, my father played professional baseball. My older brother played baseball all the way up into college. And so, like, I was always on the baseball field. You know, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't, like, my true passion. Like, it was their passion. But I found the thing that made me feel good about myself. And that was, like, stories and stuff. But I do remember being in high school. And you remember the TV show The Practice that came on?
Yes.
So that was I had watched television my whole life. I mean, TV is pretty much, when you're a single parent home, like TV is your babysitter to a certain extent.
Yes.
And so I remember, watching shows like A Different World and Martin and all those things. And then when I got to high school, The Practice came out. And that was the first time that I realized, like, oh, like, there has to be people writing all these things that these people say, because like they're doing these grand opening statements and these like grand closing arguments, and that's when I started to pay attention to all the little names that scroll across the screen when you're watching a TV show. And I was like, oh, like there's like a whole, and I just imagined like there's a whole group of writers that write these things. And that's when I started to understand that television writing is a career, a very lucrative career actually. And you get to influence culture.
Yes.
And so that was the first time that I put the two and two together. But up until then, I didn't know. And I think for a lot of people, who will see this interview, like none of us really understood. It took a while for I think all of us understand that like writers are actually writing these things. Like actors just don't just show up to set and perform. You know what I mean? I think we just kind of skip over that part. But I think thanks to people like Shonda Rhimes and Ryan Murphy and Lee Daniels, to name a few, Issa Rae, I mean, they've all shown us that writers are very important to the creative process, specifically in TV and film. You know what I mean?
Yes, and people like Ben Cory Jones. I'm just saying.
And myself, I guess.
Yes. Now, speaking of, because the list of names you just ran down is just my head is spinning because their names sparkle when you say them almost, including yours. There's an interview that you did with IndieWire where you spoke about your passion project, Bros Before Hoes. Alone, that title and the concept, I need it on my TV screens right now, just a side note. But you said that people in entertainment like to describe things as this meets that. So I want to know if you had to describe yourself using two amazing powerhouses in entertainment, the people that you look up to the most, what would that hybrid be for you to describe you? Like, what would that be? What would that hybrid be for you?
Like a hybrid of like a show, or like people?
Writers, yeah, people rather, yeah.
That's a great question. I mean, I would say a mix of David E. Kelly, who does The Practice, Ally McBeal. You mean like that, like
Yes.
writers?
Yeah.
I'd probably be a mix of like David E. Kelly and Yvette Lee Bowser, I would say. So David E. Kelly created The Practice, Ally McBeal, Boston Public, Boston Legal.
Ally McBeal.
You're right, and then Yvette Lee Bowser created Living Single, and she was a writer, I think, on a lot of sitcoms, black sitcoms back in the day, because I just think that my writing is more often than not about the black experience.
Yes.
However, I do, and I also write drama as well, so I don't just write comedy, but I do think there's a part of me that wants my work to really hit you in the gut, and to really like impact you, and really like smack you across the face. And I think David E. Kelly did a great job of that, because it's just some stuff that he just write, like his mind is just way out there. And so, I think that's a good mix, because I mean, we're trying to bring black stories more to the forefront. We're trying to tell complex stories and allowing black people to be complex. Allowing black men to be complex, which is a very important subject for me, is just to allow black men to exist in whatever way we exist and not have to be one thing. And so, I mean, I'm always focused on that. So I guess I would compare myself to, or add those two together to make my experience, if you will.
I love that. It's like an intellectual celebration of blackness with a message. Yes.
Right, with a tinge of ratchetness.
I mean, you always need that. You always need that, So I want to know, what was one of the first scripts that you've ever wrote? And then if you could add or change anything to that script, would you?
Interesting. One of the first scripts I wrote, I was writing a lot. The first thing I ever wrote was when I was living in New York. I was taking writing classes at NYU, and I wrote a spec script for the TV show The Game, which is my favorite show at the time. That was the first thing I ever wrote. It was the first script I ever wrote. And they tell you, like, you should write a speculative script of a TV show that you like, and I wrote that. I don't think I'd change anything about it. But I think that writing that script just basically taught me how to write television.
Yes.
And I think after that, I wrote basically a drama pilot about a black public relations agency. Because at the time, I was working in PR in New York City, and so I basically wrote. It was sort of like the precursor to Scandal. Like, Scandal hadn't come out yet, but it was less political and more salacious, I would say. And I think if I could change anything, which is what I kind of learned along my journey as a writer, you have to insert yourself into this material. You have to insert who you are, your voice, your experiences. Because, as a writer, your script is your calling card. Your script is your headshot, if you will. And so, but I think as a writer, as a beginning writer, you're still trying to figure out, like, how personal do I get? How specific do I get? But if I could go back now, like, I just sort of change it and just make it more real and honest,
I love that.
Thank you.
Not even a question. I just loved one quote that you had. You said, a key ingredient to a great writer is the ability to pour themselves onto a page. So that's a word right there. I wrote that down as a note to like try to form a question, but I couldn't even. I was just like, I just love that. So, now speaking of your job in public relations, before you actually landed into writing like full time, you had a slew of different jobs, from Wall Street to working for ABC execs and whatnot. I want to know, before doing what you do now, writing and producing and all that you do in entertainment, what was the hardest job that you had, and then what are some of the things that you've taken with you into this career now?
Yeah. Well, the hardest job I ever had was in entertainment, but I was a office PA on the TV show Castle for ABC. Um, and I had been in LA for probably like 3 years at this point. I was still trying to break in as a writer. I was still writing every day in like writers groups and trying to take writing classes. And I think I had one job as a writer's assistant. And then I think I was out of work for like 7 months. I didn't, was collecting unemployment. Yeah, I mean the whole nine. And then I got this gig on Castle as an office PA, which in some regard is kind of a step down because you're not in the writer's room anymore. You're down like more so in production and on set. And that job was hell, not because of the show or because of the environment, but just being a PA is just bullshit. Like it's just tough. And like it's just like no matter you can work on the best show and have the best bosses, but as a PA you're working 12 hours a day. Wow. And you were like, and it goes beyond like just doing the menial tasks like getting people coffee and making copies and that sort of stuff. But I mean, your job is to like make sure hundreds of scripts get printed. You have to deliver these scripts all around set. You have to you just have to just do anything and everything. And if we had a call time at 5 p.m. that day, we would wrap to 5 a.m. the next morning. And so you're working overnight sometimes. And I took the job because I wanted to be back on a show. Because like if as I was starting my career, I always felt like as long as I'm on a show, I'm in the right place. Because no matter what job you have working on a production, you're gonna learn a tremendous amount. And so I was like, just get me back in the world, get me back onto a show. And then I got the PA gig, and it was just tough, but it taught me about production, which as a showrunner now, there are two main things that I have to know like the back of my hand. One is my writer's room and how to write and how to break story, and two, how set functions. Because there are a lot of writers who kind of sit up here in the ivory tower as the writers, and we just write the script, we just sit it down, and y'all film it. But production is a whole different, it's like hundreds of people on set, but you're still the showrunner, you're still the producer. And so being an office PA taught me everything I need to know about set, and then after I took that job, I went back to a writer's room. And so writers and producers, you have to have both skills. You have to have writing skills and also you have to have managerial skills, you know what I mean? And so even though the job was bullshit, it was so hard, I don't take anything away from my journey. I don't take anything away from the experience that brought me here,
When discussing the web series, The 1%, that you were writing for, you said that you, in preparation for writing, sat down with everyone who was in participation and said, tell me your horror story. I wanted to know if you had a horror story that you could share as far as the entertainment world goes.
Yes, I do actually. I was working as a script coordinator on a TV show. So script coordinator, you're still an assistant, but you're sort of like, you're responsible for, once a writer finishes writing a script, they send it to the script coordinator to just like proofread it, get the formatting right, make sure there are no errors. Because the last thing you want is a script that goes out that has spelling errors on it. So I was working that job, which is a very tough job because no one really points out your successes. They just point out your failures. Like they're like, oh, there's a misspelling on page 2, or this action line is wrong, or but no one says like you released a perfect script. No one ever says that. They always say what's wrong, but because you need to know what's wrong to fix it. So I was working that job, and I think that my boss at the time, who was a showrunner, he was on a conference call with the network. I think they were giving him network notes about something, and you have the script in front of you. You're on speakerphone with the network, and they're going page by page. Well, he had the wrong draft of the script. I printed out the wrong draft. Oh. So he came into my office and he threw the script in my face. Yeah. And I had a moment of like, you have those moments where it's like, how you react right now is going to determine a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, how and I had that moment, I was like, how I respond to this is going to determine a lot. And so I just closed my office door. I may have shed a tear or two, or maybe not. My eyes got a little watery, and I'm just like, you know what, whatever. I just shrugged it off. I knew that I wasn't going to work on this show forever. I knew this boss of mine wasn't going to be a long-time mentor, and so you just roll with it, you know what I mean? But those are the kind. I mean, I actually like that those things happen because it just kind of gives you the insight as to like sometimes the pressure that people are under in this business, and also like how you do have to keep your cool under pressure. You know.
Yeah.
Another reason why I love David E. Kelly is because from what I read about him, and we actually are at the same management company, which is pretty cool. Is that he just practices like never raising his voice. You know, like even that one simple rule about if you work in Hollywood, just never raise your voice because there's certain people out here who feel like I can't get things done if I don't raise my voice.
Mm.
You know, now I don't know how they plan on living, but I don't plan on walking around raising my voice every day.
Exactly.
Like I don't got the time. You know, and so yeah, that was one. That's one thing that I never forget that moment that happened. Yeah.
I feel tried and it didn't even happen to me.
Exactly.
Okay. When you know, after this is over, sidebar, you can let me know who it is and we can roll up on them. I'll just let you know that. I got you. I was going to continue on with the writing questions, but I feel like we've covered that pretty much. You know, good. I feel like just as well as you're known for your writing, you are also known for your social media presence. You started a hashtag Writers Are Sexy Too. I kind of want to know what inspired that, and then also how do you stay so fit as busy as you are? Like I'm trying to get like you. Like share your secrets.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate that. You know what's so funny is that I started that hashtag. I mean, I got on social media like right. You know, I'm like an early adopter. I mean, I'm from we're the millennial generation, the internet generation. But I started that hashtag one because like I wanted to sort of give a reason as to why I was taking shirtless selfies. That's the first thing. But then on a more serious or deeper level, you know, like I have no problem with being visible and putting myself out there and showing people how I live. And you know, there's this image of a writer that like we're just like these sort of quiet, introverted people who just sit in the back room and write. You know, like the image of the writer in like dark clothes and in a dark closet. That's just not what I am, and me and a lot of my writer friends, we're not like that. And so I really want to just demystify the idea that writing is not a sexy profession. You know, like people think acting or directing, they are amazing professions, and they're a lot more public to a certain extent. But being a writer is very sexy. Being a writer is very cool. It's very fun. You know, and I always say I want to inspire more people to look into being a writer and a producer. Because little do you know, writers kind of, especially in television, writers have all the control. You know, we are the main arbiters of the story because we're basically writing a 10-hour movie, for example. You have 10 episodes, that's a 10-hour movie. And so it's just kind of trying to just show a new image of what a writer looks like, you know? And so that's why I have that hashtag. And it's sort of tongue-in-cheek, but I'm very clear about, like, I want to encourage more people to look at our profession as writers as something that's really sexy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Man. And then I'm looking at your resume just off just so many credits just from Chasing Life, Hand of God, Underground, and then of course, you know, we know and love you from your writing on Insecure. And then you have upcoming projects like Boomerang and Candy. I'm very interested in Candy.
Yes.
I want to talk about that, but really quickly before we jump into the inspiration behind it. If you could only choose one candy to represent you and your writing style and your approach to entertainment, what would it be?
You said one candy?
One candy. The Ben Cory Jones candy. What would it be?
That's so funny. I mean, my favorite candy is a Snicker bar. It's just because it has layers, man. It's layers.
There you go.
Layers to it. You
Perfect.
know, it's layers to all this. So
Perfect. Now, Candy follows the journey of the first and youngest African American female mayor. What drew you to start, you know, producing that story and getting into that?
Yeah, I mean, it has always been a goal of mine, like we were talking about when we started, is to do something about my hometown of Memphis. I mean, it's no secret that it's a goal of mine to one day be able to produce a show in Memphis, so I can hire Memphis actors and Memphis crew and Memphis directors. Like I'm gonna do that at some point in my career. But also, since I've been living in Los Angeles, I became really good friends with Aja Brown, who is the current mayor of Compton. And so she and I met through mutual friends, and she became mayor of Compton when she was 28, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but she was in her late 20s. young woman, which means that like she's my peer, but you have this huge job to run this city, especially a city like Compton, whose name is sort of, fortunately or unfortunately, synonymous with sort of crime or rap music or gang violence, and she really has turned that city around, and so I was really inspired by her journey, and so I wanted to basically not take her life, but take sort of the framework of a young black female mayor in a town that really needs the help, and so I put that in my hometown of Memphis. Because what's interesting to me about that is not only the politics that she has to play, but how does she contend with the fact that she's still 28 years old?
Yes.
Like, and 28, 29, like, you still want to hang out with your friend. You may, you want to go to a club every now and then, or like, so that's hugely fascinating to me, which what I'm trying to always find in stuff that I work on is that things that like, they just give me a lot of questions. I'm just like, well, how do you manage when like your homegirls call you and they want to go out?
Right.
And like, how do you manage when like you gotta be at a press junket the next morning? I mean, it's just all those questions, which to me makes for a great story.
I am so excited for that. I want to get into like a few like words of wisdom, just final words of wisdom from Ben Cory Jones, because I feel like you are a great example of so many things. I mean, I do this web series called Black Gay Slave, where I try to shine a light on men of color who are of the LGBT community, and I feel like you do so much for both communities, and you are such a great example of both, and just an awesome human. So I want to know if you had any advice for young men of color who may be LGBT or not, and also young writers coming up as well. All the people who inspire you, what advice do you have?
I mean,
or that you inspire, rather.
I mean, I think for young black men specifically, I just think we just have to sort of just take the time to just really love who we are and be who we are. Not let our families and the society dictate and determine who we are. We don't just have to be athletes or rappers. We can be artists. I just want to tell more young black men to be artists, because I'll tell this really brief story. When I lived in New York City, I was mentoring at this middle school, this all-boys middle school in Brooklyn, in Canarsie, actually. And it was like me and a lot of my other Morehouse brothers who graduated with me, and every Saturday it was one of our jobs to like lead the course, lead the workshop. And the other guys would do stuff about, because they were all like Wall Street finance guys, they would do things about like personal finance and how do you budget your life or whatever. And for me, I was like, well, I don't know nothing about that really. But I do know about creativity, and so I basically had the young boys write poems on a Saturday morning. And when I tell you, these young men got so like into it, they got so emotive, it was just beautiful, and you could just tell that they had all just been waiting on somebody to allow them to express themselves.
Yes.
A lot of them talked about not having fathers, visiting their parents in jail. I'm like, these stories are mind-blowing, and they all came from young black men. And so the advice that I give to anybody is that tell your story. Your story matters, no matter how small or how crazy or how stupid you think it is. The more specific you can get about your story, the more you're going to connect to somebody else, because I guarantee you that somebody else out there has the exact same story, or has the exact same, not one somebody, hundreds of somebody, thousands of somebody, but we don't know that if we keep it all inside. And I think the key to healing in life really is to deal with what you have to deal with, but then you have to release it. You got to let it go.
Yes.
And you do that by way of finding a way to artistically express that. And when I say artistically express that, you can express it through sports, you can express it through writing, you can express it through art, but like you have to sort of express who you are, or else the world doesn't change. You know what I mean? That's my big, philosophical answer. But specifically for writers, one, you gotta write, But before you do that, what's most important is that like you gotta do the work within you. You gotta you have to like get to know who you are, loving yourself and owning who you are, I feel like, is a lifelong journey. But you should start the process of like figuring out who you are, figuring out what your fears are, figuring out what makes you happy. You know, figure out the secrets that you're holding inside. Like you gotta do, as a writer, you have to do that work, because when you can do that work, then you can give your characters real life quirks and real life experiences, and that's what connects to people. I mean, I think Insecure is a great example, because on that show, you know, we really, as writers, we really dig deep into our personal lives, and we put that on the screen, we put that on the page, and I think that show resonates a lot with people, because they can tell that, like, this is some real people who are writing this went through this, or else how else does it feel so real, you know? And I think comedy specifically is moving in a place where it's very realist comedy. It's very sort of not reality based comedy, but it's based off real stuff that's happening in real life. And we found that, you know, we don't have to create worlds. We just have to sort of put our own world down. You know, you don't have to create exactly. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
We don't have to create all this other stuff, because our own lived lives are enough story. You know, and so, you know, just always like do the work in yourself. Spend time getting to know yourself. Spend time by yourself. Spend time in your thoughts. And also, as a upcoming writer, you have to read. And I would say, as much as you read scripts, you have to read books. You just have to read and like expand your vocabulary, expand your way of communicating ideas. Like I'm always trying to read something, whether it's a novel, a book, watching documentaries. You just always have to be watching everything, because writing is a muscle that you have to flex. And if you don't flex it, it'll get weak, and you have to rebuild it up again. You know, and so try to always keep your muscles flexed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. The analogies too. I feel like I went to church and a therapy session all in one. Thank you. Okay, that was dope. Like, okay, there's so many gems that were dropped. I just really want to end on a really like good light note.
Okay.
Because we got into some serious things. I feel like just tell the world just to get your together. That's what it was. But I want to just have a little bit of fun and just get your opinion as well. So if you're down for it, I want to play a little bit of game that I call M5.
Okay.
Now that's when I throw out a current event or a pop culture situation that has happened, and you give me your opinion, but in 5 words or less.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yes, I feel like that's perfect because you're a writer. You know words. You're smart.
Sure.
So
What happens?
Okay. First, Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj.
It's interesting and very funny drama.
There we go. Kevin Hart versus Cat Williams and Mike Epps and pretty much everybody in comedy.
Kevin Hart needs to make better movies.
Ooh. Somebody please send this to Kevin Hart. Ooh. I'm not mad at that. Okay. Bert and Ernie being revealed that they were inspired by a gay couple.
That's refreshing, but also, I don't know.
Past TV shows still being rebooted.
I love it. Yeah. Boomerang coming soon.
And I had this one for Insecure. We just wrapped the finale of that, which was so amazing. But since you brought it up, I want to know, what can we expect from Boomerang in 5 words or less?
Something you would not expect.
Ooh. Yes. I love that.
Yeah, that's good.
Ah, man. Boomerang's coming up. Candy's gonna be out. Just keep making these epic and amazing works of art, Mr. Jones, because you inspire me and so many people every single day.
I really appreciate that a lot, man. I'm glad we were able to sit down and do this. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It was fun.
Same here. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much. I can't say it enough.
We'll be in touch, okay?
Of course.
All right. Bye.
Bye.